to ditch your Minnesota residency. Hi, my name is Claire Langton-Yanowitz, and I'm an attorney at the Yanowitz Law Firm, where we've been advising clients on wills, trusts, and probate for the last 29 years. Why would you want to ditch your Minnesota residency? What's so wrong with Minnesota? Well, we see this happen with a lot of clients. First of all, the weather is really cold here in the wintertime. So a lot of people in retirement want to go spend the winter months in warmer areas. And it just so happens that a lot of places that people winter in don't have estate tax, including Arizona and Florida. And Florida also has the added benefit of not having an income tax. Minnesota is one of the higher taxing states. We have a higher income tax rate than a lot of states, not the worst. There's California and New York out there. There's only 12 states left in the United States that have state estate tax. So there are more states that don't tax people at death than there are states that do. And we just happen to be living in one of them. And we're a state that actually has a pretty low exemption as far as exemptions go. I wanted to make this video series because I find that there's a lot of misconceptions that come around Minnesota residency, and I want to demystify those. And I also wanted to point out that a lot of people do it wrong. They'll have their Minnesota house here that they've lived in for a really long time, and then they'll go to Arizona and buy like a little trailer home to live in a few months of the year. And when they do that, they're not particularly know about all the rules and all the ways that Minnesota can come back and say, you're still a Minnesota resident. And another thing that they don't think about is they don't think about how to title their property. And so that's something that's really important to think about because when you own real estate in multiple states, and it's in your individual name, there's no beneficiary designation, you can end up going through probate in multiple states. So you go to Arizona or Florida, you buy a house, you put it in your name, and then at your death, if you have no plan in place, you can end up going through a Florida probate and a Minnesota probate. And this isn't like Costco where you buy 3 for the price of 2. Going through probate in multiple states can be a very costly endeavor. And there isn't this economies of size thing. If you went through probate in all these different places, we're going to give you a discount. It doesn't really work that way. So it's important to have a plan in place if you are kind of spending your time between multiple states. I have a 3-part series where I'm going to talk about, in my next part, I'm going to talk about the 183-day rule. A lot of times people think, if I'm more than half a year outside of Minnesota, I'm good. And that's not necessarily the case. You'll learn in that part 2 video. And then in part 3, even if you do become a resident of another state, but you continue to own property in Minnesota, you can still be responsible for paying Minnesota estate tax. A pretty frightening thing. A lot of people don't know about this. So stay tuned to watch these upcoming videos, and hope you're able to learn more about Minnesota residency. Thank you.